Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of online class for the subject Business Studies for class 11. So today we will start the actual syllabus of our class, and we are starting with our chapter 1, that is Business Environment. Okay. In this chapter we will understand the meaning of business environment, the features of business environment, stakeholders of business, importance of environmental scanning, Pastel analysis and Porter's 5-factor analysis, and also we will understand about something known as SWOT analysis. Okay, so without wasting time, let's get started. To understand the concept of business environment, it's nothing but the surrounding of a business. So here I have one example. Let's say there is one business organization, that is a company A, and it has its suppliers, customers, distributors, competitors, bankers. Okay, so these all are the parties with whom the organization has a direct business connection or link. Therefore, any change in the attitude or the behavior of any of these parties, that is going to affect the performance of this business directly. How? Let's say, for example, if the customer of this business starts expecting for discount, so obviously that will affect the earning or the profitability of this organization. Likewise, if the supplier of this organization starts charging or asking for more prices for the goods or raw materials which is provided to the organization, again that will increase the cost. Increase in cost means reduction in the earning or profit. So in that way, any change in the behavior of all these parties, that is going to affect the performance of this business directly. Likewise, there can be another organization in the market having its own suppliers, competitors, customers, creditors, bankers. Okay, and here also any change in the behavior or attitude of any of these parties, that is going to affect the performance of this business directly. From here, we need to understand clearly is the change in the attitude or the behavior of the customer of, let's say, business organization B. Let's say the customer of this organization B starts asking for discount in the prices of the goods. So that will affect the earning of this organization B and not that of the earning of the other organization, let's say A, because it has its own customers and this organization has its own customers. So in this way, when we are looking at the environment of specific organization, the environment at the individual level, okay, so that means we are talking about a particular concept of business environment known as micro environment. Okay, so micro environment means the environment related to a particular business organization. Okay, but apart from all these factors and forces of microenvironment, the factors related to particular organization, there are some other factors which are common or general in nature. Okay, and those factors and forces are the factors and forces of political environment, social environment, technological environment, legal environment, and economic environment. The nature of the factors and forces of these environment is such that a change will not affect only the performance of one organization, but that will affect the organization in general in the market. So that's why here we have the concept of the factors and forces of general environment, common, so that is called macro environment. Okay, so from here, please take the two concepts of business environment, that is the micro environment at the individual level and the macro environment, that is in general level. Okay, so from here if we try to define what is business environment, so we call business environment refers to the aggregate, the total of all external factors and forces that influence or affect the performance and the functioning of a business enterprise directly or indirectly. Okay? All these factors and forces, okay, are interrelated and they are interacting. How? It simply means a change in one factor is going to affect the other factor. For example, at present, one decision taken by our government, which is a part of our political environment, that has affected not only the performance, the activities of business in the market, but that is also affecting our social life, okay, and the economic condition. So that's how all these factors and forces are related, they are connected. A change in one is going to affect the others also. Okay, so that is the meaning of the factors and forces of business environment being interrelated. Okay. Now, let us discuss the next topic of our chapter, that is features of business environment. So, when we look at the features of business environment, the first feature is totality of external forces. When we say the environment of a business, we don't say in individual level, but we say in totality, in an aggregate. Okay? So that's why the concept of business environment covers everything which affects the performance of one particular organization or in general, directly or indirectly. Okay? Next factor or feature of business environment is it includes general as well as specific forces. So as I already said, specific means individual, which are related to a particular organization, like the customers, the suppliers, the bankers, the owners or shareholders of a particular organization. So business environment covers all these individual factors. At the same time, business environment also covers the general factors like political condition, economic condition, social condition, the state of technology, as well as the legal framework. Okay. So that is the second feature. Moving on to the third feature, all the factors and forces of business environment are interrelated. They are linked to one another. So that I already discussed or said that any change in one factor is going to affect the other factors. Like due to technological advancement, now we are talking about not only the traditional form of market where in order to purchase goods we don't go to a particular place. Now due to technology we can do online shopping. So we have come to the concept of e-marketing. Okay. So likewise, to do the banking transaction nowadays we don't have to go to the bank. Okay. So now we have the facility of mobile banking, app banking, internet banking. Okay. So that is affecting our social life also. Understood? Let's move on to the fourth feature. It says business environment is dynamic in nature. So it means the factors and forces of business environment, they do not remain same or static all the time, but rather they keep on changing. Okay, so that is the meaning of business environment being dynamic. It keeps on changing. Like the political condition has changed, the economic condition has changed due to this pandemic, so-called COVID-19. Okay. Next feature is relative. All the factors and forces of business environment are relative in nature. It means they depend upon the place or country, region. Means the factors and forces of business environment, they differ from country to country, place to place, or region to region. For example, the social economic condition of our country is not same as that we find in European countries or in America. Okay, so that's why some of the companies may find good business opportunities with sarees, kurtas and all, but they may not find the business opportunity with the same kind of products in USA or UK or even in China, because the cultural or social condition out there is different from that we have here in India. Okay. Next feature of business environment is uncertain. As we already know that the factors and forces of business environment, they do not remain the same all the time. So due to this nature, we can't predict or forecast what will be the change in future with certain degree of accuracy. So that's why we cannot forecast with accuracy that what will be the technology next, what will be the economic condition next, what will be the changes in the rules and regulation laws. So that's why we say the factors and forces of business environment are uncertain in nature. So we can't predict with certainty, right? Let's move on to the next feature, universal. It simply means every organization, whether it is small in size, medium or large, whether it is related to the production, manufacturing, trading or service providing, so all the organizations, they have some kind of environment. That's why it is universal in nature. Now let's move on to the eighth feature. It is complex. The factors and forces of business environment are complex in nature. Why? The reason is quite obvious, because when we say the business environment, it includes all the factors and forces, whether they are related to a particular organization or in general. Okay. Technology is included over here, customers, creditors, laws, society, social norms. So anything which affects the performance of the business, that is taken into the concept of business environment, and they are interlinked, they keep on changing. So that's why the factors and forces of business environment are complex in nature. Okay. Now, dear students, let's move on to the next topic or the concept of today's class, that is stakeholders. Okay. To understand the concept of stakeholders, again, let me start with a business organization. You know, a business organization cannot exist by itself. It means there has to be the contribution from various parties for its existence, performance and the success. Like for this business to exist and perform, okay, there are various parties who contribute directly or indirectly. Like there will be shareholders or the owners, okay, who will invest their money in the business. They will provide a sufficient amount of finance. If that finance is not sufficient, then there will be other financiers or traders in the market who will provide the credit facility or financial assistance to the organization. There will be suppliers, there will be customers, dealers, competitors, government and even public. Okay. So all these parties, whether they are at the individual level or in the form of a group or institution or organization, somehow they contribute directly or indirectly for the performance of this particular business. And that's why they expect something in return. Okay. So all these parties, individuals, groups or institutions who contribute directly or indirectly for the performance and the success of the business, and therefore they expect something in return. They have some kind of financial stake or interest in the performance. So they all together come in the concept of stakeholders. Okay. So the stakeholders means basically the individuals, groups, organizations or institutions who contribute in the performance of the business, and in that way they have a financial interest or stake out of the business. So they all are called as stakeholders. So as the last topic for the today's class, let us understand all these stakeholders, who are they, how they contribute in the performance of the business, and in return what they expect from the business organization. Okay, so to start with, let us start with the first stakeholder, that is shareholders. So shareholders are basically the investors who subscribe the shares of a company. They contribute in building the total capital of the company, take the risk of the business in the company, and they become the owner of the company. So in that way, ultimately the management, the ownership and the control, that lies in the hands of stakeholders. Okay, so what they do contribute, first of all, they contribute sufficient finance to the business organization. Okay, the base capital. Okay, and since they are the owners, so they take control of the business affairs. Okay, so they become the board members, and the majority of the decisions related to the policies, okay, so that is being taken by the shareholders. So however the business is going to perform in the market, that depends upon the efficiency of the shareholders. Okay, therefore let us understand what they expect in return. So what they expect, whatever the amount of finance or capital has been invested in the company, they expect that that should be utilized or invested properly to carry out the different types of activities. Okay. Next, they expect participation in the management, because ultimately they are the owners, so they want to take control of the management. Okay. Next, what they expect, since they have invested their amount of money in the capital, obviously they expect return on that. So they expect fair return on their investment. And because they do not take part in the day-to-day activities, okay, because the day-to-day activities are controlled by the board of directors and the officers at the executive level. So that's why when the organization performs or does the activity for a particular year, okay, so they should be called for an annual general meeting, and all the data or information related to financial performance and the financial position of the business should be disclosed to them. So they also expect the disclosure of accounting information. Okay, let us move on to the second stakeholder, so called financiers. Financiers are those who extend loans and credit assistance to the organization, and in that way they help in creating a pool of regular source of debt finance, means loan finance. Okay, so ultimately financiers, they provide financial assistance or credit facility to the organization, so that the organization should not have the problem of shortage of funds to carry out the day-to-day activities. Okay, now let us understand what they expect in return. First of all, whatever the amount of credit or finance has been extended to the organization, they expect security on that. Okay. Number two, on the amount of loan or the credit which they have extended, they expect regular return on that, and here the return is known as interest. So they expect the organization to pay the interest on a regular basis, and that is also mandatory for the organization to pay interest to the creditors or loan providers. Okay, and these parties, they also expect the fair disclosure of the financial performance of the business. Okay, and they also expect the return of the fund on time in future. Okay, so these all are the expectations of financiers. Now let's move on to the third stakeholders, so called suppliers. So obviously suppliers are the other organizations or institutions who provide raw materials, spare parts or finished goods to the organization on regular basis. Therefore, what our organization is able to offer to the customer, it totally depends upon what it is getting from its suppliers and at what price. Okay, so I simply mean that the quantity and the quality and the price at which we are able to offer goods and services to our customer, that depends upon what we are getting from our suppliers. Okay, so that's why the quantity, the quality, the price of our products, that directly affects by the quantity, the quality of the resources and the materials that we are getting from our suppliers. Okay. Now let us understand what the suppliers expect from our organization. So they expect the long-lasting business relationship, means a regular supply or purchase of goods. They expect us to pay the prices for their raw materials on time, so timely payment for the credit purchases. Okay, so these all are the expectations of suppliers. Let's move on to the fourth stakeholders, primary stakeholders, very important, that is customers. So customers are those who purchase goods and services from our company. Okay. Ultimately, on one side, if we need the suppliers to get the raw materials or finished goods, on the other side, we definitely need somebody who is ready to take our goods and services. Otherwise, without them, the existence of our business will be difficult. Okay, so that's why to perform well in the market, to survive in a very competitive environment, we always have to keep in mind the expectations, the interest, the tastes and preferences of the customers in the market. You know, the market experts, they say that treat your customers like your boss. Okay, so that's how the customers are important for any organization. Okay. So what the customers expect from the organization? But always quality goods, safe and reliable products, fair prices, okay, after sales services, and sometimes they also expect, okay, free discount, or sorry, discount, premium, buy one get one free. So this kind of offers they expect from the company. Moving on to next stakeholders, market intermediaries or middlemen. So basically, market intermediaries include the dealers, agents, wholesalers and retailers who help in the distribution of goods to customers who are located at distant places. So actually, they help us to bridge the gap between the manufacturers and customers. So they play a role in between. So they help us for the transfer of goods and services from the manufacturers to the customers. That's why they are so called as middlemen. So what do they expect from the organization? Regular supply of goods, fair prices for the goods and services which the organization supplies to them, and they expect some extra benefits or facilities like cold storage facilities, refrigerators, etc. Okay. Let's move on to the sixth stakeholders, competitors. So competitors are the individuals, groups or other organizations who offer same or similar kind of products in the market. So they are the competitors. Okay. For any organization to take any kind of business decision, it is very important to understand what the competitors are doing in the market. Okay. So that is the importance of competitors. They work as a kind of control factor for our organization to carry out the different types of activities. So what the competitors expect, as far as possible, fair dealings, fair competition. Okay. Moving on to next stakeholder, government. Here, government includes the different bodies or institutions which are concerned with the administration of public affairs. Okay, so here government it includes not only the local government, the state government, but it also includes the central government, or the three different types of government. Now, government, they involve in the formulation of legislations, regulations, and different business policies. Okay, so they help the business organization by providing a legal framework to carry out the different types of activities. Sometimes they also offer technical assistance, financial assistance, okay, and they sometimes also offer subsidies to purchase raw materials, goods, and other resources. So that's how they try to help the business organization. Therefore, in return, what they expect, obviously, they expect the organization to abide by the different rules and regulations formulated by them. Okay. They also expect the organizations to carry out the different types of activities, fair trade. Okay. So fair dealings. Now we have come to the last stakeholders, public, general public. The concept or term public includes media group, environmentalist, non-government organizations, consumer associations, local communities, etc. They may have a positive or negative impact or effects in the performance or the success of any organization. How? If this public group, they pass on information about the performance and the success of the organization in the market, what the organization is offering to the society. So it will help the organization to create a reputation in the market, public image. So the organization gets the publicity through them if they talk about the positive aspect of the organization. So that's how they may have a positive impact on the affairs of the business. But in contrary to that, if they start talking about the negative aspect of the organization, or if they leak some of the business secrets of our organization, then obviously that will have the negative impact on the performance of our business. And they also sometimes protest against the organization if the activities of our organization is injurious to the public health, public hygiene, if it creates pollution in the market, if that is injurious to animals. So they protest against the organization, and that will obviously have the negative effect on the performance of our organization. Okay, so with this I have come to the end of today's class. Remaining topic of our chapter we will do in the subsequent classes.